What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All You Can Eat Warriors, and that's what we mean, All You Can Eat Warriors. There's a lot to get into tonight, guys. Obviously, a very scrumptious weekend. How's that for a word, Joshy? How you feeling about that?
Oh mate, it was delicious. Definitely on Friday.
Oh,
A little bit soggy, but it still tasted real good.
I didn't think within 2 minutes of starting this live stream, I'm going to hear soggy, as a word I guess put across as well. But nah, guys, it's going to be an incredible show tonight. Obviously, we are all in great spirits after the weekend's game. 40-6, the Warriors getting it done over the Raiders. So we will go through the game, our thoughts about that. Then we'll touch on, obviously, the team list that has been dropped. Obviously, a couple of changes due to a couple of injuries from the weekend. And then we'll touch on some of our junior grades and how they're going. Because to be honest, they're hitting their straps a little bit there too. So very, very happy about that. But shout out to the chat. As always, week in, week out, user jumping in, going absolutely mental. Carl, good to see you all in there. Jazzy, what's happening? But a great comment here from Jose, and I think we can all agree here. Josh closes the fridge door with his hips.
Mate,
so-
the little 1-2. Bah!
Oh, talking about hips, bro. Talking about hips. I haven't done my little OzTag updates for a little bit. To be fair, we had the week off last week because of the rain, but this week we got to play. Very, very happy. Your boy we put on a clinic over Monday night, but I think it would end up being 19-4 the score, and I think I caught myself a hat trick, maybe a 4-piece.
Oh, maybe a hat trick, maybe more. Who knows?
Ooh, bro, and pulled out the old reliable, the right foot step into a goosey, and the goosey was probably the ugliest goosey I've done since I was 12 years old. So we'll erase that from the memory. Oh, nah. We were talking about celebrations, so I was going to go to Philly, the coconut.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll be a cool one. What would your celebration be?
I think I love the Nathan Cleary, the throw up and the bang.
The shotgun, yeah. That's nice.
Or maybe just a first down celebration, whatever it may be, from the NFL. They do it really well over there. They just celebrate everything.
Or maybe the Ali.
Maybe the Brian To'o where he's
Oh, mate. It's so good to be in good spirits, guys. It's obviously so nice to be doing these streams on positive stuff around the Warriors and stuff and how the boys have been going. And I know you guys have all been enjoying it as well. What's going on, Wasol? Good to see you in the chat as well. Jacko, as always, still chilling. But we may as well jump straight into the game over the weekend, brother. 40-6 against the Raiders. Shout out to the Raiders. Came over very valiant in that first half. They came to play some football, rugby league football in the wet. But the boys really dug in deep against a team that is known to dig in deep. I thought this was going to be a tight contest, but the boys blew it out late. Your overall thoughts on the game, brother? How are you feeling being out there, Go Media Stadium? You're a little bit under the weather due to that too, right?
Yeah, I'm not feeling the best at the moment. I'm starting to kind of deteriorate a little bit. I did have a big weekend. Obviously had the footy on Friday night where got absolutely soaked. Me and my mate. We had some ponchos. Didn't take any of the green V ponchos. Get that out of here. No way. I walked past it and I went, how dare you bring a green V poncho out? I was like, where are the blue V ones?
I know, I agree too, right? Who picked up the green? Why did people even choose to get the green one?
Oh, because it was wet, bro. It was so,
it was bad. It was
so
bad.
Wet. And so they only had the green ones on offer, so that was all you could really get, which was a bit of an oversight. So hopefully it doesn't rain next time we verse a team that wears green. But anyways, and then the next day I had to back up the next day, had a wedding to go to, so I was out late for that one again. Shout out Jason and Mia, my favorite married couple. So
congratulations.
But so feeling a bit under the weather, had a big weekend, and so we're I don't know. Well, I'm still happy to talk football. I love some rugby league football, and I love some Warriors. So
you're running on
no
fumes,
sick leave
bro.
for me tonight.
You're running on fumes, bro. You're running on fumes, but we do appreciate that. You're doing the hard knock. You're getting through the game, and even when things are going against you. we're still pulling out something. And just like the Warriors, things going against us before the game. Kurt Catewell pulling out before the game. Lek Alasima having to come and play an 80 minute stint. We'll get through that. Chanel Harris-Tavita, unfortunately, getting knocked out very early on in the game. So already we're behind the back foot. And even within those periods, I'm pretty sure Fish got dragged out for a HIA within that first half as well. And then later on in the game, obviously, Chance going down with a HIA as well, which has put him out for the weekend. But the boys doing all that and still getting to win 40-6. Like, a lot of the commentary around the game I had heard is like, the Warriors were just great and all that sort of stuff. There has been a little talking points around, we were down a couple of players here and that, and that's even without Metcalf, Barnett, and stuff like that. I did hear a little bit of like, the Raiders, coming into this game, wet weather footy probably didn't help them in a sense, and they were down a couple of this and that. Like, I'm just like, you guys had all the opportunity to come over here, yeah, shout out to Cameron George, shout out all that. But honestly, full credit to them in the first half. They really made us work for it. And like, big turning point, as you touched on in the pre-room, in that game was our goal line defense. But how impressive was it just to be out there and watch the boys compete on every set? That KO Weeks try came a little bit earlier. I think a little bit easier just to some broken play. But the boys really sat down and said, nah, we're not letting this happen again. And they didn't allow it to happen again throughout the game.
Yeah, I think it's been definitely a real point of difference for us this year. Like over the last few years, we've definitely struggled defending our own goal line, and in 2024 it was more we can't defend it, but we could score some points to kind of mitigate it. 2025 we got better at defending our own goal line, but we were still a bit. Like our right edge was not fantastic last year. I mean, we can all agree on that. And this year, just seeing the scramble, seeing just the I guess the want to no one, they don't want anyone to score. And that first try was a bit unfortunate. We were a bit numbers were a bit muddled here and there, and we didn't quite get the cattle. I mean, like Dallin was. He stayed out wide, of course, but he was halfway between the goalpost and the corner post. So it's not like we had the numbers. We were so short on that side, and Canberra just stripped us. But from that moment, they didn't look like going over. There was no point where our boys were defending down there where it didn't look like they were dying for the badge. And I think that's so important. I think that's so us this year, and that's going to be our identity, which is such an incredible identity to have.
Yeah. And it's so good to see it, outlast a team like the Canberra Raiders. We did see the Canberra Raiders the week prior, going up against Manly. Manly came in very highly emotional in that game, got all the rubber to green fairly early on in that game, but the Canberra Raiders kind of stuck to their process, stuck to their plan, even though they didn't have ball in hand. They just turned up for each other, and then when they had the opportunity, they struck. We kind of did the opposite on the Raiders, what they wanted to do to us in that point. They were in for the tough contest. They had a couple of moments where they did break us open, but our scramble defense was on. As you said, the boys were fighting hard for the badge. And then coming to that second half, Webby obviously seen a couple of things that he really enjoyed from us and really laid the law down for the boys, and they came out and they fired from that. And, Ali Leotai coming out of halftime, getting the interception to kind of break it open to start with. And the boys just didn't stop from there. It was one of those games, just watching and just feeling the avalanche of points starting to come. We had a little bit of that with the Roosters, right? The Roosters game felt like the Roosters came back into the contest, and then we just kind of eked away again. This one was just like, it just felt like it was just going and going and going. Then there was a little period where the Raiders kind of was like, all right, we've got to do something here. And then it didn't really account for anything. And then we just came home strong and just put it to bed, bro. Like, it was a all-time performance for me. It was very, very good to see early on in the season.
Yeah, obviously we've never scored this many points to open a season, and to have two games where we go over 40 points, it's good to see that attack isn't going to be our struggle this year. I think we did struggle a little bit on the left side, especially out wide. Once Chanel went off, which was really early. I mean, Chan's moving out there did fantastic, played his role perfectly as the standoff. But there were a couple of balls that were going out to Rog that either bounced or were behind him and things like that. And on a night where you want Roger to score on his 150th game for us and 200 and somethingth game overall, you want him to have a night where he can, come away and go, yep, we won 40-6 and I got a couple tries. But we seemed to direct a lot to the right, which was awesome because we scored and we won. But, it was interesting to see if that's going to be, I guess, a talking point for us. Not that we need many talking points coming out of that, but how to two-side our attack instead of just one-siding it.
100%, and it does filter back to it. There was a couple of comments I think in the off season. I think even Luke Metcalf said it on League Lounge with Sean Johnson over the weekend, basically stating that Webby's kind of sat down with the side, and I think they've become better. They've built the base. So like, what I love to hear is like, I've always believed that first of all, you build your base of your house and then you build on top of that. And that's where your variations in your attack and all that come. But you want to build like defense in that first and structure and field position. And then everything else plays off the back of it. And then as Luke was kind of saying was, we built to that point now. And now it's like, we're learning the added variation. We play what we see now. And it's not so much like, because we obviously are very structured. And I still like that because that's consistency. That's a game plan. Like that's how we, stay in a contest. But how we elevate ourselves over the contest is having those, 1%, those moments, those X factor moments to kind of push us further out. And we definitely saw it a little bit in this game, with Lek Siemens of the world and that can break a game open out of nothing, and just create like this, like a nice stock gap between us and the other side to where our defense can carry over and win, push a game out. And I think that was a big key in this in game. Is obviously our attack's been incredible, but we found a really nice balance with our game where we trust in our defense. We know our defense will hold us into a great field position, and then it just turns over into our attack. Now turns over. We're finding our points in the right positions, and then we're playing off the back of Tanner Boyd having great touches. Dallin getting over in the corner. Ali, finding himself. Adam Bompey finding himself as well. So I'm really really happy with the balance of the team at the moment. It is obviously round 2, but. Like, how happy are you to see, coming to the season, seeing the Roosters and the Raiders as our first 2 games of the season? A lot would probably say 2 very tough teams. Wouldn't say the toughest, but very tough because, the Roosters were touted to be the next, they're going to be the top of the competition more than likely this year. The Raiders, obviously, the top of the competition last year. But we know what the Raiders bring every contest. How happy are you to see the boys go, 40-40 in the first 2 games of the season?
Well, it just shows that, like you said, we've got our foundation right, and we've been building that. You could see it a lot last year. We had that foundation. It's just we weren't able to score as many points as we'd like, and all our games were coming down close. But then the foundation that we had was then bringing us through. Whereas now, the foundation is bringing us through the first half.
Yep.
And bringing us through any onslaughts that the teams are bringing. Like the Raiders in the first 15 minutes of that game. We're just on our try line pretty much the entire time, and they scored 1 try. And then in the Roosters game, they, got a breakaway early, and then I think they scored 2 tries in the middle. One of them against the run of play, and then one, seemingly with the momentum that they had, but the way that we dug in there and used our foundation and built on that foundation to then say, well, no, we're going to be in a dogfight until we get to the 75th minute, and then we're going to show you, what we can do, not like, not obviously wanting to wait till the 75th minute. You want to put away a game as soon as you can, but, saying that we're willing to go right down to the wire and then show that we can play a variation, we can play a little bit more to get over the top of you. Like that's so exciting this year, and we're not going to put 40 points on every team. If we do, fantastic. But I love the way that we're playing, because I think what I was noticing at least is we were quite happy in contact to when we're making the tackle to then drop off the tackle quicker and get our line set quicker and let them play the ball quicker, but not give away 6 agains. Whereas like the Raiders, and I don't know how they got away with so many, but there were so many times that they were holding us and slowing us down to the point where like at one point I thought the count was another like the Roosters where it was like 11-2. But, it was very, very even, but we still relied on our guys that were ready to back up and make that next effort so that, we weren't giving away repeat sets and weren't making us have to defend more. So I think we've planned for a faster game this year. So I don't know who took Webby off about that, but
Yeah.
Props to whoever did that, because we're playing fast.
100%, 100%. And it kind of is suiting to our, like, we got a really nice balance and a mixture of like newer, younger players. And then we still got the older brigade that are still in the team and like leading with the experience. But it's a really good mix to end up playing that play style, because I feel like a lot of our players do suit that front foot type of football of like, Tane Tuivasa coming on, having the performance that he did in this game. He's very suited to that sort of style. He loves tackle breaking, getting on the front foot and being a smaller body. He doesn't want a set defensive line. He wants to obviously broken defensive line as much as he can and play off the back of that. But we may as well jump over to like the top contributors in this game, bro. And there's a long list of them, so we'll chop those down into segments. But we may as well start off with the Daily M leader currently right now. 12 points at the top of the comp in Daily M's. Who would have thought? Our boy, your boy, Jackson Ford, bro. How good has Jacko been to start the season? I came out and said, obviously, going in, Jackson Ford in that position. A lot of people do forget that he was having terrible main numbers towards the end of last year and just wasn't being spoken about because it's Jackson Ford. It's not a sexy name. Like, it's not, all that sort of stuff, right?
It's a sexy man, though.
Hey, if his name was like Fabio Holden or something, I don't know, like it'll be spoken about so much more. It's just like Ford's the shit like car and like, I don't know, shout Ford fans out there, not attacking that, but bro, Jacko, just to go repeat after repeat, incredible game to get the 12 points in Daly M. Incredible, bro. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. How you feeling? How you feeling about Jackson Ford? Fabio Holden.
Oh, check his DMs for Fabio's. Bro, I think Jacko has been given an opportunity while Mitch Barnett is out to show his worth to us. And knowing that Mitch is in and around the team, which we'll talk about a bit later now, Jacko has got a lot this weekend coming forward to show that he still can be that big minute player for us, and we don't have to bounce straight back to Mitchie. But man, the way Jacko has been playing, like it's not flashy, No. It's not something that you go, oh yeah, he's getting 5 offloads a game. He's doing Payne Haas things where Haas is stepping at the line and bouncing away from tackles somehow with that massive frame. Like he's just running hard. Like he, ran for 150 meters, made 37 tackles. The week before he ran for 200 meters and made 28 tackles. Like it's not glamorous. He's just doing the tough stuff. He's playing 78 minutes on the trot, and then he's getting rewarded by the silkiest pass I've ever seen anyone throw from Aaron Clark.
Yeah,
which beautiful. And it's just that he's gonna repeat effort on effort on effort on effort, and he's gonna get rewarded. And he is being rewarded with big minutes. He's being rewarded with runs of the ball. And he's been rewarded with the Warriors going, man, we're going to follow that guy because that guy is what we need in this team.
Yeah, it's the whole very big part of the reason, and especially him with the younger kids as well, is when Mitch Barnett did come to, the agreement of compassionate grounds and moving on to another club, that the trades were all around, edge players or, outside backs more so than front row forwards and stuff, because we still got a guy that can punch out 70 to 80 odd minutes a game in the middle and do it, look like in times that he's got his ass hanging out, but he'd still turn up for the side. And then at moments he just catches his second win and he's all good again. Like it's such a wild player to watch, but we love watching him because he's such an awkward ball runner too. I can only imagine how hard it would be to tackle him because those knees come up in all different areas. Like he's got the mad hip thrust to him and everything like that. We do love it. Shout out to the chat as well. There's a lot more Ford fans than I expected in the chat. So shout out to you guys. But,
we're all Ford fans now.
No, all Ford fans. Shout out to also major sponsor to the League Lounge, Sean Johnson. So it looks like I'm not getting onto that show. Shout out. But Shawnee, I do love ya. T Mackie with GWM being a car sponsor for the Warriors. Maybe it should be Jackson Great War Motor. Goes all day, bro. Goes all day. But no, he impressed the hell out of me out there. Like, I think that we've been kind of saying it with the Wise Up TV for a little while. Like he is very underappreciated at sometimes. Sometimes we can go unnoticed with him, or maybe stick with these negatives. And like, he hasn't had too many negatives lately, which is incredible. It's good to see him clean that up. But even if he does have an error here and there, or maybe a penalty here and there, maybe it is a little bit of like, hey, like, just remember what Jacko brings to the side, what he can bring to the side of like 150, 200 odd meters a game. He can punch out 70. So we got a good fresh rotation of Fish and that coming on and staying fresh and ready to go. Like, I just love to see it. And just quickly too, we got Mr. Average Isaac with a $2. Thank you so much, my bro. $2 donation. And he'll say, g'day guys. Would you see Ford as co-captain? There's a possibility in the future. I think Fish will probably be the captain until he sees it all the way out. I don't know if we'll co-captain again with Barney going, but he's definitely got the ability. I don't know how good, like, leadership wise, if you're talking with the group and all that. I think he's just a guy that goes out there, does his job. But your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think Fish is our captain, and I think we'll probably see Dimitri kind of step into those areas at some point as well. Like he's already showing some real good signs of leadership as well. Ford is like, again, if we're a couple years down the track and Fish is out and Dimitri's out for a game, chuck Ford as the captain and watch him go. But I think his role is almost needs to be that simple: go and play hard instead of go and play hard, talk to the ref, talk to the boys, do all these things, because like when you put too much on someone's plate, it can change their output. So I'm excited to see how he does with just one thing on his plate at the moment, and that's winning the Dally M. So if he wins the Dally M, and he is, it's like Payne Haas, right? Like he's not captaining the Broncos, and obviously he's now leaving anyway. But he wouldn't then go in and captain the South teams, because like his job is to be that front row forward that everyone looks to and goes, oh yeah, well Payne's doing that. I can put in effort as well, and that's what Jacko's doing. So he's a leader, but he's not the leader.
Can you imagine if he's if he gets a Daily M over Sean Johnson?
My gosh.
That would be incredible for Jacko.
It would be the most justice for like Steve Price and Simon Mannering and all of this,
but thank you so much, Mr. Average Isaac, for the $2 donation as well, brother. I really do appreciate it. But you're right, man. Like, he's a guy that I believe that he has one job in mind, and his job in mind is just to go out there, cause as much havoc, and just work your ass off for as long as you're out there for. And as I said, I go back to, he helps our rotation so much. Like looking into this week's team list, and we'll get more into it later on. But there is the ability, we obviously carry 1, 2, 3, 4 forwards currently right now. But there is the ability maybe in the future we can drop off one of those forwards and carry a fullback and a half on our bench, and Sam Healy, because there was a little bit of the worry of that as well in the future when we have Tomaida and all that come back. How are we going to carry our bench? How is it going to look? But to have someone like Jackson Ford gives us the ability that we could probably run out with a 3 other forward bench, have the rotation of Fish and we know Barney can go for longer minutes if he wanted to as well. We got players that can punch out those longer minutes there, but Jackson kind of helps with our forward rotation and gives Webby just the ease of mind that he can plug him out there, he can do a job, and he's just like, all the other pieces can move around him, and I enjoy that about him.
Can I pose something to you? When Mitch is fully back in the team, and so say we have full strength available, right? So theoretically, you start with Fish and Barney, and then you have Laban, say Kate Wells back, and Clark. Do you bring Ford on after 20 minutes and leave him on till the end of the game and play Mitch Barnett more as like a 45-minute like a Fish and give him more impact, or do you play it a different way?
I would say it would look very similar to that. I think that Jacko, and Webby's obviously brought us up multiple times, Jackson is a player that plays better over a duration of time. He's not a player that we can chuck on for 20 and make impact that way. I think he's got to be a guy that's going to punch out 60 to 70. So he's going to, or 60 more likely. He'll come on after that 20 mark, probably run for the rest of the game. And we'll have rotation of Fish and Barney on there because they're captains. There was always the talk around maybe having one of our captains on the field at all times. And maybe that it feeds into to the rotation of that 13 role as well with Aaron Clark and getting more impact out of all these sort of roles there. You know, have more punch through those moments because obviously Dimitri's got to feed a little bit. We got to have Lecker to feed a little bit. You know, Ratsuniya Kudez coming back into the lineup as well. He's got to feed in some sort of way. I'll probably see him more as a middle player now and having like Lecker probably interchanging our edges. But I think that's probably the way we'll probably look at it, bro, is more so, yeah, Jacko's going to run for 60 mid-game and we're going to have Fish, you know, Barnett and all that become more of those 20 minutes on and off, you know, just continual impact throughout the game.
So you wouldn't start Jacko?
Well, I think the optics of that is just, it's the only thing holding me back in the sense of like Barney is our leader. Like I know we've come past that point in the game, right? Of starting and bench, because bench is just as important as starting these days. And if you don't have a good bench, I feel like you're a team that's lacking in the competition. Like I think optically for me, I'm just going to go Barney and Fish to start the game, have those guys, you know, probably punch it out. And maybe it will help, you know, Jacko, you know, come on there with a little bit more tired forward so he can just really push out those middle parts of the game and roll with momentum instead of probably starting out the game and getting, you know, he goes through those tough carries to start the game. Let Barney and that set the pace and then him come on. But I can see your argument for sure because he, you know, he hasn't put a foot wrong to start the season starting.
We wouldn't be a silly team that puts a captain on the bench to start, not like was it New South Wales back in the day?
Nah.
Nah, we wouldn't be like that. We wouldn't be stupid like that.
It's never too early for Origin, Chad, is it?
Well, because I was only young when I think it happened, right?
Yeah, it was Kidley, right?
Kurt Kidley, yeah. He was 14.
Weird
crazy.
One. It's crazy that.
Man, New South Wales is so stupid. What's going on?
But one thing I would say, like, as I said before, he saves that interchange. Like, he really does. Yeah. Like, I can see maybe the starting prospect as well, because he does also save the interchange from the start as well, if that makes sense. So your rotation just becomes that. Probably really, it depends on how Barney's coming back from the injury as well, of how long maybe we just run with Jacko as a starter and then Barney probably filling his role later on. Probably this is what Webby envisioned with last year. Remember, he started last year with Jackson Ford to start the game instead of Aaron Clark, and there was big discussion around that. He always knew that Jacko's got this in him. It's just, you know, it's taken him time to show like the consistency over time, and now it's looking like he's reaping the rewards of, you know, giving his trust in someone like Jackson Ford. Say
Kurt is injured for a little bit longer, so we say round 6 at the moment, but let's say it's round 8. So another 2 weeks. So make it 4 weeks once Mitch is like fully back, including you know, round 4. Do you say, hey Mitch, remember how you played second row for us in 2023 / in 2024? Would you do it again?
Personally, no, myself. But what I would say to that is I think that could be game dependent. Like we have seen lineups out there where I feel like we're coming up, even like someone like the Raiders pack, right? Like they're a big pack. They usually stack like a whole bunch of big boys to start out the game. I could see Webby tinkering with that just of like, you know, certain game plans. But I say more times than not, I think we want to give the time to Jacob and Lecker and all these younger boys to sit in their role and really continue to learn. Like, you know, it was good to see over the weekend having Lecker play, you know, longer minutes in that game, and obviously Laban playing good minutes in that game, both on the edges, and we got the taste of the future. I feel like we got to continue those guys in those big minute roles for those periods for them to learn it. But he's the great option that way too. You know, Jacko wasn't that bad of an edge back rower himself. You know, we've seen that Dimitri can play on an edge. Like, we got guys that can cover all these positions at a time too. But I think that with specific roles, I think Lecker and Laban are going to be our edges if we do see Maratza and Capewell go down for sure. I love the chats though.
Yeah,
I love the chat.
Sorry, I just chucked up a couple questions because I've been trying to think about it today as well. Just like what we should do really.
Well, it's crazy, man, when we go back to a full strength lineup. You know, this is what brings these questions up, right? Like, we're obviously, I believe in my head, we got Fish and Barney starting out. You know, Capewell has obviously nicked that starting role to start the season. I feel like if he's fit and healthy, he goes back to that left-hand side. And I think that Lecker and Laban will probably rotate on that right-hand side, causing, I'd say that Maratza will become more of a middle player, and I'd say that if one of like Gannon or something like that is going to have to fall off this bench. We're going to run a pretty strong little bench there too. It's going to be really hard to see who's going to make the team list week in, week out.
I think when we're at full strength, like as much as he was fantastic on Friday night, like Tanner Stowers-Smith probably drops.
Yeah,
I reckon we run like, are we saying full strength with Tamide back or
I'd
without
say
Tamide?
so. Without Tomato first, because I think Tomato is a long term.
Because
So
we'd
a little
go
bit.
probably Sam Healy, Jacko, Dimitrik, Leka,
Yeah.
Tane, and Murata.
Yep, I'd probably say so.
And then after that, or Murata or Tanner, depending on, and then when
How that goes.
yeah, when and then when Tamide comes back, you go, okay, well that one drops off, and Tamide comes in for um Tanner / Murata, whoever it is.
Well, may as well, while we're talking about halfbacks, before we get to that, actually, shout out to Sung Yong Kim. Thank you so
Oh
much for the
yes,
10 gifted memberships to our fans, to our community out here, fans, community. Was that Tahi got it? We got Jesse, Wasol. Shout out to all you guys. Zach Kemp, shout out to you getting a gifted membership. A big thank you to Sung Yong Kim. That is a very, very generous. And guys, get around him. Amazing. Thank you so much for that.
and that means when we have the members only streams, when they come up, when Levon is free and able, you guys can jump in there normally on Monday nights, and you can actually chat. I bought my membership the other day because I wanted to last week because I wanted to drop some chat, but Levon. He knew it was me and didn't read any of my messages, but he won't do that to you guys.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he doesn't know we're doing this, guys.
This is a side thing. Yeah, he's still yet to know what's going on here. Shout out to Levon. He's doing amazing stuff. But we started on it a little bit, but the halfbacks, right? Tanner Boyd, 2 out of 2. 2 great performances. I'm not sure. I didn't get to check the Daily M points. Obviously, I saw Jacko get the top of the Daily M, but I'm not sure what he got in Daily M points this week. Did anyone double check on that? Guys, let us know in the chat, because obviously I'm going to throw hands if you only got 1 point again. I know Jacko took a lot of points there, but surely there's enough to go around with Tanner Boyd. But great performance from him again. Just structurally, like, very, very sound, getting out there. Beautiful kicking game. That 20-40 that he hit, or was it 40? No, 40-20, sorry. I thought it was 20. Yeah, the 40-20. Yeah, 40-20 that he hit. Incredible. We know what he possesses, like that beautiful try assist for Lekker's try of the kicking game and all that sort of stuff, but his running game off the back of, the beautiful Project Mbappe, little heel flick from Aaron Clark as well. Tanner Boyd following through, scoring a try. I can't fault Tanner, bro. Tanner's been incredible to start the season. I've had a lot of discussions, obviously, in our Wise Up WhatsApp group about Tanner Boyd and how it looks, obviously, with Metcalf and all that coming back. But for the time being, what are you most impressed with Tanner Boyd? Like, I think defensively he's been really sound for us as well, and I think that's been the biggest plus for me. But his whole game, man, like, he's really stepped up this year, and it looks like that he's taken his development to another level.
Yeah, so I just checked. He got 4 Dalian votes. Tane got 1, and Fish got 1.
Oh, I love it.
So, but with Tanner, what I'm impressed with is he's not doing anything out of the ordinary. He's not doing anything like crazy, where he's having to do a Luke Metcalf and get a runaway try or take an intercept or do any of these things. He's just managing the game. And I think that's exactly because what our boys are doing, our middles are doing at the moment, is they're putting Tanner in a position where he can do that.
Exactly.
Roger out the back, Tane out the back, both running for over 200 meters, which is crazy. But both of them getting us up the field, and then, having Jacko run a few more meters, having, Fish come in for a hard carry, these guys laying down the platform so that Tanner Boyd can just kick and kick and kick. And he kicked Tamale into submission. I don't know if you saw the Sione Tuigamala post at all while I was doing the rounds on Friday night. That was a good one with Tanner Stowers-Smith and Tamale. Tanner Boyd just kicked him into submission, just made him, drop the ball a few times. And then, again, like, he's not doing anything out of the ordinary. He's playing shape. He's playing exactly, what we're meant to be doing. And he's just, he's using his eyes. He's using his feel for the game. And you can see that because of how deep he's running into the line. Okay. he's at the point where Stranger's made the decision for him a couple of times, like rushing out to try and hit Chance or Chanel early doors, where he can put that kick through for Lecker, or he can throw that long ball, or he can reset. Like, he's looking and seeing those things as opposed to just playing normally. And I think that's that's who Tanner is, and the fact that he's doing it so well to the point where we've won by, 24 in the first week and then 34 in the second week. It's, it's no surprise that it's on the back of how well he's playing, how well he's kicking. He's leading, I think, top point scorer, top try assists. I think he's third in kick meters or second in kick meters, something like that. He's at a point where he is playing so well that it does bring up discussions, and we have been seeing the discussions in and around Warriors people over the weekend when they have nothing better to do than talk about the Warriors, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, shout out to Jose jumping into the WhatsApp chat as well. And if you remember, check your membership program. You might be able to get into. We got Discord as well, and I know the Discord's been going off crazy, but we used to have a WhatsApp, and he sent us a message of like, it's keeping us up a little bit. Just like, I feel like the first time I got asked the question of like Tanner Boyd, Luke Metcalf, like, again, like, I still hold the same sentiment. I'm a guy that wants to see like a big chunk before I can make a real good decision, because I don't want to go off of like, let's say, a couple of games and then something will teeter off and this and that, and like probably just the ability of both those guys to come together and create a good partnership, because there's a lot more than just on paper that will work, because there's mentalities in play, there's two human beings in play. But I am getting a little bit more curious on it. Like, but what hurts about that is like, I feel like people are negating what Chanel does for us as well. Like, I was kind of, let's say, like, I think Luke and Tanner will be great, because I think Luke can do defensively not as good at what Chanel can do, but Luke can hold up his end and probably has the game breaking ability, the speed, stuff like that, how it goes, to pair up with Tanner. But what Chanel brings is a guy that is willingly to play the second fiddle. He's a guy that will sit back and just allow, someone to control a side. And I feel like the sides that are at the top of the competition usually are very, directed by one playmaker that's getting into points and playing off the back of that, instead of having two heads, going both ways. We saw the Sharks versus the Panthers over the weekend. You see the two different styles. We play very similar to the Panthers, right? And having like Cleary that's going to play both sides of the ruck, and he links everything together with Yo, and it's all off the back of Cleary. And then you look at the Sharkies, they play on whoever's got the hottest hand. You got Nico Hines that's a ball playing half. He loves to be on ball. And then you got, Trindle that loves to be on ball. And their combinations at time could look absolutely incredible when they fire. But the consistency part where they both, sometimes don't get on the same page, that still worries me with the Sharks. And it kind of would worry me with Tanner and Luke. But it's still, I feel like that Webby will give it a crack. I have this little feeling of Webby's going to give it a crack, only because what hurts Chanel is so good at multiple different things and can play in a role of having him as a cover off the bench, and even plug himself in the middle in the 13. I don't know if he'll do it. I'm 50-50, right? I'm in that sort of mold of like, I can come out and admit when I'm wrong when I say that, like, I first of all thought it just won't work. The more I'm starting to see Tanner and that go, I'm just curious of like, maybe it will. But again, it's just retracting from what Chanel has done really well. I know everyone's going to come with the argument, we scored 40 twice to start the season. Great to see. But we also got to remember, when Chanel's in that 6, we probably had the best defensive left edge that we probably had through our Warriors history from memory. I don't remember an edge being as, stout as that edge for a long period of time. And as you brought up, last year was probably the best defensive edge in the competition, right? Points wise. So, like, that's what Chanel brings, and I feel like that gets understated with this whole chat, and it hurts so much because we're gonna have to we're gonna have to pull out one of them. I was gonna bring up like a movie quote or whatever, but sometimes you're gonna have to just pull something and make it happen, but you're gonna have to just go with something and just run with it. And I'm hoping that Webby makes the right decision. Yeah, erase that.
One of them can play cup. All right, they don't have to die.
I don't know about that, man. We got Jet, we got Jai coming back. We spoke about it before. Yeah,
our whole cup bench soon is going to be just halves that because we've got such a big backup, there's just going to be like Jet, Luke, and Jai on the bench for Cup, and we're going to have to figure it out.
One thing I would say, though, is I said it in the WhatsApp chat too, and I thought about it even more and more. I'm sure that whoever is unfortunately going to be the one to miss out, they're obviously going to get a lucrative little deal somewhere else. I believe, personally, I believe that there's going to be either Perth or PNG or something that's going to nibble on them. Even if there's another New Zealand team that comes in a comp later on, they maybe have a nibble on one of these guys, and I'm sure they're going to be very positive towards their development under us to get those moves. Like Tanner Boyd for sitting behind everyone. If he's not able to get that halfback role, he's going to get better money than what he did off the scrap heap from the Titans when we bought him, right? And I think that's a big positive to go with as well with this whole discussion. It's not like one missing out is going to like obviously, turn this whole club, like, everyone's going to be against everything we're going to do. These guys are going to get great deals somewhere else because they're all performing really well. It's just, it still hurts because obviously as a Warriors fan, we want to make the right decision because we do worry about it, the one move we make and someone else gets a better player than what we probably had.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, when I think about the argument of putting Luke and Tanner together, it just doesn't make as much sense for me as it seems to for everyone else.
Yeah.
And the main reason, and I know everyone's going to be like, oh, you just love Chanel, but Chanel won the 6th jersey before 2025.
Yeah.
He then went through that whole preseason knowing that he was going to be the number 6. And then played a full season as number 6, and we made the finals.
Yep.
Then this year, preseason, the whole preseason, he knew he was going to be number 6. And he has worked with that left side. He's worked with Capewell and Lecker and whoever else is going to be inside him. He's worked with Adam Pompey. He's worked with Roger to be like, this is our edge. And they have such a good connection. I mean, Roger talked about it in the vlog with Johnny Tuivasa-Sheck. Chanel's talked about it in other interviews. Like, that left side is so, like, together that then to just rip Chanel out of there and you'd have to put Luke in there.
You'd have to,
because
yeah.
you can't then move Tanner from right to left when he's been training on the right side. Yep. For me, I don't see it because, like you said, with how Trindle and Hines work, both of them want the ball. And Luke wants to be the guy.
I agree.
And last year, I think we're all forgetting as well, to start the season, Luke was incredible. He was on 40 Dally M points by round 15.
Agreed.
And, Jacko's already on 12, so he's already most of the way there. So maybe we put Jacko at 7, and that's Jacko Ford for, just leave Jacko Ford at 7. I think we have, like, Luke had played so well last year up until the point of his injury that I think everyone's forgetting that and just going, oh, shiny new toy, Tanner Boyd. Yeah. And I love Tanner Boyd. I think he's been fantastic this year. I think last year he was hard done by because of the way he had to come in and play. And it was only going to be that way that he came in. But if you saw how he was playing in New South Wales Cup, on the back of that forward pack in New South Wales Cup and time on the edge with those players, he was immaculate. So there was no discussion that Tanner Boyd was next up in terms of taking the number 7. Now, Tanner's been playing so well that people are going, oh, well, was Luke that good? Is Luke going to be good enough? Luke was fantastic. He was arguably probably a top 5 player in the comp before he went down. People were comparing him to Jerome Hughes, how Jerome Hughes plays. He wasn't just a serviceable 7. He was the 7. He was the guy carrying the Warriors. He won the game for us 3 or 4 times.
Agreed.
So for me, the decision is so easy that it is Luke and it is Chanel. I think Tanner, I love him. I think he's great, but our style of play really suits him. And I think what we'll see, I think both him and Chanel are off contract this year. So it'll be interesting to see where either of them go. I know Luke's through till 2028. So by the end of next year, by the end of next year, he will be making a decision. And to me, when I think, well, do I want this guy that could just leave and go to Perth next year, playing as seven, no matter how good he's playing, or this guy who we've decided that we're gonna build with through till the end of 2028.
Yep.
Why would I choose the one that's probably gonna leave this year anyway?
Because that's the discussion, right? Like, in the sense of, like, that's a key part of the discussion is we've already put all our chips into Luke Metcalf till 28. Like, we did that big jump. We gave him the money. Obviously, that little period where we were a little bit worried he was going to go to Para, or, there's a little, clubs that were really in for him, Dragons as well. And the Warriors said, hey, you got a spot here. And he chose to stick with us as well for 28. And that's the other part of the discussion is, like, I believe Luke's a 7 now. And I believe Tanner's a 7. I don't see one of them being a 6. I see Luke more than likely being the one that can play as a 6 and go back to that role. But does Luke want to regress in his mind of saying, like, nah, I said I'm the man of the team. Webby's obviously came out and said, I'm going to back you all the way through. Like, it's going to be a little bit more of a touchy thing if he does lose that jersey or he doesn't play in that same sort of role than to say if, like, let's say Tanner, unfortunately, gets that role, plays incredible for us, gets us to the points. But, hey, sorry, but, like, we put all our stocks into Luke Metcalf. You've done incredible. We appreciate you. There's 6-man bench there too. You can play in that role just in case there are any injuries, or you can play cup and continue to do what you're doing. Like, it sounds horrible, but unfortunately, that's just the way professional sports goes. And, Chanel's, again, another character here that was just like, I feel for him. But then you look under the surface, we got, Jet Cleary's waiting for their turns. Luke Hanson's waiting for their turns. A guy that I'm big high on is Jai Lanane, who's coming back from injury very shortly. And he's going to cause a lot of ruckus in that grade as well, I believe, to where people are going to be pushing for him to get into a 6 role in the future. And then Chanel's name will get brought up with that, and Tanner will get brought up. We're in such a positive place that it worries me a little bit that the fans could get negative in the sense of, like, not having their preferred options seeing in that 6 and 7. That can turn a little bit of, like, the positivity around the club. And I hope that people can just stick with the mindset of, like, Webby's going to make the right decision and Webby's going to, back himself here. And we should all get behind the club in that sort of sense. And just believe that we're going to go in the right direction here with Webby. And I think that the contracts are definitely a big thing, but I also do think that positionally, it's just going to be a real tough one to get across the line for that.
One thing I will say as well is, like, Luke hasn't been absent from the team like throughout the preseason. Like, he's been there, obviously not full training, but he's been there in every single meeting. Yep. He's, been to the camps. He's been doing, what he needs to do to show, hey, I'm still a real big presence around this group. And the group, I believe, are probably the most connected I think they've ever been.
Agreed.
The way that everyone is on board for the same mission. When we think back to 2023, I think there was a lot of, it's Webby's first year. It's the new manager bounce that we always talk about in, like, professional soccer, professional football. And when you get a new coach and things change, things get better. And I think in 2023 there was a lot of that mentality, but there was also a lot of, I'm playing for my stats and I'm playing to show that I'm really good. And there were people coming over here to prove that they could be good. Whereas now people are coming over like Tanner, like Loffy, who are coming over and going, this is a really good system that I could get better in.
Yeah.
And they come in and they slot in so well that when someone gets dropped down to cup, they're not kicking rocks.
No.
Like Murata last week. Yeah, he's fit and ready to go, but there's no place in the first team for him right now. Or, as in last weekend, unfortunately, Kurt goes down, but fortunately for Murata now there's a spot for him.
Exactly.
But he went back into cup and said, well, I'm going to rip it. I'm gonna absolutely just try and dominate as best I can. And you see the video thing they do at the end when they win, and he's there layering up the most.
Exactly.
So he's so happy just being a part of this Warriors culture and just being a part of this club, which is something that we haven't had ever, pretty much.
Exactly.
I can't remember a team that's been as connected as this, been as ready to play and to do whatever it takes for the team. And that's what Tanner's doing at the moment. He's doing whatever it takes for the team. Jacko Ford is doing exactly the same at the moment. He's starting and he's playing 78 minutes. He's doing whatever it takes for the team.
I think that's been a big thing that Webby's pushed across for the group as well. And one thing I do want to touch here, it gets on a little bit sidetrack, obviously, from the game that was over the weekend and that, but I did hear like a lot of the thoughts around, Webby's tenure around the club. And, I know we're pretty early into this year, but if you're just looking over the history of it, 2023, great. We made this big jump under Webby very early on. 2024, there was a lot of context I still hold on to the reason why we ended up in the position that we ended up in. We had to combat with, obviously, Sean Johnson, moving on towards retirement with his injuries for that season. We had players in and out of that lineup. Towards the end of the season, there was obviously players that got moved on from the club and players that end up moving on from us for compassionate grounds, stuff like that. There's a lot going on behind the scenes of that year, personally, that I felt like, yeah, okay, so there was even little bright sparks in that season that I could hold on to, but overall, I feel like there's a lot to contend with in that year. But all the other years on the back of that has been very positive under Webby. He's made the right decisions. We made the right steps in the right, the right direction. That I'm so much of like, all right, I've got the trust in the coach to say he's going to make the right choice in the situation, and even if he does tinker for a little bit and then he finds the right, two guys that are going to lead us to the future, 100%, but. I think this all comes down to just trusting Webby, trusting in the group. And as you said, like they are, as a group together, they're playing as a squad more so than just guys on the 1 to 17, for the game day, or 1 to 18, 19 now because of 6-man bench, of the game day. But continuing on quickly, bro, we got, performances, chance to move into that 6 jersey. I thought defensively he held his own out there. Shout out to him. But who else was a big standout to you? Lecker, incredible for his role there. 2 tries, just damaging as always. Like, my God, Lecker's so good. But Tane Tuivasa as well, someone coming on. Who else kind of stood out for you?
Yeah, I think Tane was my big standout, like to be thrown on after, 10 minutes of a game where the Raiders have been, dominant and have been like on the front foot on the goal line, Noah Martin and just run over the top of Chanel. Like it's to then have to come on into the wet, into the cold, and then do what he did. He ran 200 meters in like 68 minutes or something like that, which is outrageous. Like that's if you lengthen that out to a full performance, that's 240. That's Chan's areas he's running. That's not he's not a player that we go, oh, okay, we have to bring on Tane Tuivasa. I was excited to see him come on. I was stoked that he was there because that kind of game was made for Tane. With all the big boppers hitting each other and doing so much damage, for him to be as shifty as he is and to come in and around and, kick returns, he was just fantastic. And there was obviously the one that they dragged him back into the in goal, but that happens in the wet, and that happens with Tane. He is on the lighter side. To be fair though, I think that same thing would have happened to Chance. The way that the Raiders like bulked up in that defensive set there. So. But other than that, he was fantastic. He was, just like outrageously good at every good thing that we were doing. Tane was in and around there, and as soon as Sam Healy came on, he grew another foot. Like Tane getting in and around Sam Healy. Sam Healy ran for 70-something meters.
76. Great.
Yeah, in like 15 minutes or not even that, So the fact that Tane can back that up and be beside him and be ready to get an offload and keep going, or to get on the back of Sam, like I'm excited to watch him have a full week knowing that he's going to be the fullback this week again in Newcastle. I feel like he's probably like the most reserved Newcastle player we've had. Like I think the last 3 times we've been to Newcastle, he's been our fullback, which is pretty crazy.
Bro, I feel like every time we play Newcastle, we've got a different fullback. And remember, Roger played him in Mount Smart too. Like, such a crazy thing. Newcastle always gets our second string fullbacks by the looks of it. You touched on Sam Healy. Great performance from him as well. He's been great to start the season as well. I love that rotation. But we may as well finish off on our captain in the middle. James Fisher-Harris, bro. Like 151 meters in the game, tough carries, offloads in him, his ball playing. Like, That's 2 back-to-back games. So I feel like he's elevated himself past the level of what. So he's doing numbers so people are noticing him more than just the 1%ers that he's doing. And that's what's picking up a lot of people saying he's playing a lot better than what he had in the past. But I just want to give a big shout out to our captain there. You know, a massive knock again over the weekend against, you know, a team with like Joe Tarpany and all those big boys in the middle. He was a guy that, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he came out with the win.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought Fish was great, and he really led the other boys as well. Like I thought he led Tanner into what Tanner was meant to be doing. Tanner Sale-Smith. He led Dimitrik into playing well. He led Aaron into playing well. You know, like, and he is again one of those guys who I don't expect him to have the best stats. Like I don't expect him to be, you know, to run for the most meters or, you know, but he's also getting our second phase play going.
100%.
He's getting a couple of offloads out, which are proving like to be incredible, and really, really helping us out. So it's an interesting one because he's, you know, like that was part of his game when he was at Penrith, and he kind of put it away a little bit last year with us. So it'll be interesting to see if that's something that he's looking to do more this year, and maybe you know he can lead Dimitrik into doing that more, or you know things like that as well.
100%, brother, 100%. And I know I said lastly, but we may as well end off on the guy that 150 games for the Warriors, bro. 210 meters out there, scoring the conversion in this game as well. Just great to see Roger just continue to do what he's been doing. He's such a key, vital piece to the Warriors at the moment, especially with our game plan. You know, it all comes from our back line, you know, getting us into a great field position, and then the boys just working off of that field position battle. And Roger does that probably better than most, you know, wingers in the competition, other than probably, you know, Karaz and Ato'o. I would say he rivals, you know, Karaz in that sort of sense as well. So great knock from him. And he's just been such a good servant for the club, 150 games. And he gave us so much quality with that 150 for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's been one that we've always been able to rely on. And I think even more so in the game that we had on Friday, he was, you know, Mr. Reliable again. I was impressed with his goal kick. I thought that was actually like a really good strike. I think he's probably gonna end the year as the top goal kicker 100%. So unless they give him another crack, but I don't foresee them doing that too much. But no, he was great. I thought there were a couple of unlucky chances where the ball was thrown behind him or too far in front of him, and that was a bit tough. But I could see him in the second half absolutely screaming at the boys to get a kick out his way. I thought he was a bit hard done by out there, not not having the ball come out his way. But yeah, I mean, going at Tamale, and I think the last one I saw him scream at was when Dallin scored in the 78th minute or whatever, and he was like hands up, like both hands up, like please, and then he sees Dallin and he's like, okay, sees him score and he's like, all right then, fine.
Great to see Dal getting over there as well.
I saw Dallin today.
Yeah, looking good.
Oh, absolutely, looking stunning. But, just went with the casual "sup, bro? How you going?" He was, going good, bro. Yeah, going good. How are you? And I was like, "Oh, mate, I'm better now." Shout out to Dal. Always a big love for the Warriors fans. I know sometimes we can go this and that, but I know he's always appreciated from the Dal defenders
out there. Dal defenders, baby, all day. All right, my man. With this question here, we may as well jump over to this weekend's matchup against Newcastle Knights. So will Barnett play this weekend? We may as well jump over to it very, very quickly. So this is a team list that we've got for this weekend. Tane Tuivasa at fullback, replacing Chance, that is out with a head knock. I would have believed that Chance probably would have played 6 this week if he was good to go. But obviously we will see another man a little bit later on that's going to take that role. Dallin and Roger there on the wings, Ali and Bompy there in the centres. Tanner Boyd and Luke Hanson, the Cup halves pairing that won New South Wales Cup last year. They will take over this team and hopefully bring home the Chockies in that game. Shout out to Luke Hanson with the debutant jersey there. James Fisher-Harris, Jackson Ford lead from the front. Wade Egan in number 9. Leka Alasima and Jacob Laban there on the edge. Aaron Clark finishing there in the lock. 14, Sam Healy, Dimitrik there in 15, Tennisdale Smith there at 16, Marata Niakote back from his injury there in 17, the calf injury, Morgan Gannon there. So we only got a 5-man bench named there officially, and then we've got our extras here with Alofiana Camperera, Eddie Idemia Toyava, Jet Cleary, and Mitch Barnett. So we may as well jump over to that question. Will Mitch Barnett play this weekend, my brother?
I actually, just real quick on the reason we don't name number 19 is because I think a few years ago, or like a fair while ago, because I asked this question a while ago as well, because I was always annoyed at how it was different in the team list, but it's because Sir Mad Butcher has always been our 19th man.
Oh, yep.
So he always number 19 is him on the team list. So we just go 18 to 20. So Loffy is that last man on the bench at the moment. But yeah, I do think Mitch will play. I think if they've named him, he's obviously ready. And I could see him probably slide onto the bench in lieu of Loffy, probably.
Yeah.
And would run quite a big bench.
Is there any sort of knock to... I haven't seen the New South Wales Cup team just named yet. Has Jet been named in the 7 jersey for Cup?
I think so. I wouldn't say 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure I'll check now. But
could there be a possibility? Like, I know that we got guys to cover if there's things go down, but I think we're pretty light there too. And having a 6-man bench, would you see maybe a Morgan Gannon falling out and having a Jet and a Mitch Barnett jump into those 2 positions?
Jet is named at 7 in the New South Wales Cup team. Eddie is named at 12 as well.
Jack Thompson named on 6?
At 6, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, Bishop Neal at 11.
Oh, Bishop's jumping up the cup this week.
Holy moly.
My God, that's going to be an incredible watch. I can't wait to see that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
NZ time.
Woo! That's crazy. We're all very excited to see how that plays out. Obviously, we'll get to the Jersey Flag performance over the weekend as well. But yeah, so we're thinking Mitch Barnett definitely will get a role this week, or do you think that will take it 1 week off?
I mean, like, if it was a home game and they named him, I'd probably think they're playing silly buggers. But I think they'll probably, like, if he's going to fly over there, he may as well play, you know? And it's against his old team as well. Like, even if he comes on for a 20-minute stint, I wouldn't mind it. I can't really see him dropping down to Cup to play. So maybe it is that he jumps in for Gannon and they let Morgan Gannon play Cup this week again. I mean, because then we'd probably need Loffy on the bench with that small of that big of a lineup. Other than that,
yeah, because obviously the other hashtag, or not hashtag, what do you call it, asterisk over a player this weekend. Shout out to Adam Pompey, waiting on new little gifts coming into this world. So yeah, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, because that could definitely change things completely again. If that was to happen, like, you got Eddie that can play center as well. He hasn't played a lot of it this year, but you know, he has filled in a position there. Or you could go Loffy onto a wing position, and then, like, I know everyone hates it, but Roger to a center.
That's unfortunately not what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that they might move Lecker.
Yeah, they had played with it actually for the season. So Lecker goes to... That makes a lot more sense. Lecker goes there. Marata starts on an edge.
And then Mitch and Morgan are there.
Yep.
On the bench.
That makes a lot more sense, I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably it. And then I would say maybe they let Loffy go back to... Oh, no, Eddie's named in Cup. Never mind. I was going to say they let Loffy go back to Cup and have Eddie at 19 on the interchange so he can cover the backs. But
yep. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Obviously, there's always been questions over the team list coming into, day of with the Warriors. Webby is quite good at, shifting a lot of things around day of, but... make sure you keep an eye on it before you put out your hard-earned money on bets and stuff like that this weekend.
Bet responsibly.
Yes, bet very responsibly. It can change very quickly. But Newcastle Knights, bro, coming into this game, started the season very, very well. 2 from 2
Mm.
now. Against oppositions that a lot of people would say lacked a lot to be desired. Manly did not look that great over the weekend, but you can't take away from what the Knights have been building through the season. KP, he's been directing the side as more of a 7 in attacking positions. Dylan Brown playing off the back of that. And good to see that their boy Fletcher Sharp's back in a 6 jersey as well. He's definitely going to be a name to watch. But your thoughts on this Newcastle Knights team? Where are you kind of looking at the moment to what you're worried about, and where could we attack and really pick apart Newcastle?
I think first of all, Newcastle have won the games they needed to win. Like they beat the Cowboys over there. Yeah, they did in Vegas. Which, looking at the Cowboys against the Tigers, wasn't maybe too much of a good thing. And
Yep.
then they beat the Seagulls in Manly, which is pretty impressive.
Pretty good.
However, the Seagulls got beaten by the Raiders, who we absolutely demolished. So, are the
Rugby league
Seagulls good this
maths.
year? Like it's a question. I mean, the Hello Sports boys are not having too much fun on their podcast at the moment with Manly going down, and Manly did look a bit hapless on the weekend. They didn't look like they were in it for the fight, and I think the Knights are a good enough team to take advantage of that. I've been loving Trey Mooney this year. I think he's been strong. Dylan Lucas and Jermaine McEwen are always strong. Obviously, they're without Dylan Brown and KP, so about 80% of their salary cap is out of this game.
Crazy.
But I mean, Fletcher Sharp is always going to be really dangerous. He's going to be one that you worry about, and then Bradman Best is another one. He's going up against Ali this week, so it'll be interesting to see kind of how they try and isolate Ali. On the outside of him is Greg Marju, I believe, so not the quickest. So maybe we see a couple more Dallin jams and go from there with and with Jackie Laban trying to get around. So it'll be very interesting. I think the Knights, like Fletcher Hunt, played really well. He's been pretty strong this year, but then I mean, when you're missing your number 7 and your number 1, it can be pretty tricky.
Yeah, it's definitely really unfortunate because I would love to see us go against the Knights with a KP and that, just to see where we're kind of sitting. 2 great wins. You don't want to see us continue on this run at beating sides, even with their majority of their good players in that lineup. But you're right, Fletcher Hunt has jumped into that jersey and done fairly well in that number 1 jersey. Not KP, but he's done a good job. Fletcher Sharp coming back, some major tick for them. But listening to a lot of NRL physio and how players come back from PCL injuries. We saw Reece Walsh do a PCL against us, and how he had that bit of mid-season blunders just due to coming back, and how it takes a little bit of time. I think that's probably the area I want to see the Warriors kind of attack to, just to see how he's going. I know it sounds really ruthless, but I think that we've got to be a side that's got to attack that. Fletcher will be posted up, I would say, on the left-hand side, even though Sandon will have to go to the right. So we're going to see probably Jacob Labans and stuff like that probably really getting into his work on that edge. So that would be really good to see. But one thing we can't underestimate the side, because Sandon Smith has stepped into that jersey and done a really good job, I believe, in that 7 jersey to get him around the pack. And they've still got players, as you said, as a Bradman Best and a Dominic Young that have the ability to break open games when they need to. But I'm fairly confident the boys can continue to get it done. This Knight side, we've beaten Knight sides better than this, I believe, in the past. Obviously last year, Anzac round, we did a great job, and then Lecker doing what he did in the moment. I'm hoping that we can come into this one and continue the roll on that we have. But it's definitely going to be a good little test. I think the main part we do win out is definitely this forward pack. Dylan Lucas is definitely a player to always watch out for. Trey Mooney's had a great start to the season, but I think for number to number, I think we've got some guys that can definitely win that middle battle, and that's where, majority of games will win the losses through the middle, and bringing back Mitch Barnett's a major key back into that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think we may have to watch out for Luke Hanson as well. It's all well and good to say that he's ready to debut, but you never know until he's out there.
Yeah.
And so what I hope for Luke is that this week he's focusing on his tackles and he's focusing on running the ball. If he can do those two things, then he'll be fine. But if that's going to be a place they look to attack with him next to Liquor, then that could be, that could be an issue. Either way, I think that we are a stronger team. And we have been talking about other teams not being full strength. We are still nowhere close to being full strength.
Agreed.
And I think that's a bit of a discredit I'm seeing with, like Bloke in a Bar and, NRL, like Fox Sports team, like the NRL on 9, those teams who are going, yeah, well, the Warriors played well, but the Raiders were missing Josh Papali'i. They were playing well, but the Roosters didn't have Reece Robson, didn't have Rob Toya, So I think a lot of people are discrediting what we're missing, and I think we are too. And with Mitch coming back, that'll be great. But, Kurt, he was immense for us in the first round. And, we did manage to survive without him against the Raiders, but maybe, we may not be able to survive without him against the Knights. It's things like that where these players are so important to us, and it's a lot of leadership that's down at the moment. Like Chanel has been around and he's a half. He's ready to lead. Kurt Capewell, leader. He's captained us a few times. Luke is down. Lukey Met. Lukey Met is down. Mitch Barnett as well is still not completely back. So, it is going to be interesting to see how we combat that. But I'm still confident in the boys. I think it'll be closer than our last 2 games, but that's like throwing a rock in the ocean and knowing it's going to land in the ocean. So
I agree with you though. I have a feeling this one could be a closer one than what we probably assume it to be. What maybe Warriors fans will assume it to be. There is still not unsettlement as into like we still don't know Adam Pompey. There's still game day stuff that could change here and all that. We're debuting Luke Hanson, who I think is going to do a great job, but there's obviously still the thought of debutants coming to that jersey. We don't really know what's going to happen. We can be sure that he's going to do a good job, but maybe on the day he just has an off day, and sometimes that does happen, when a new player debuts. So, but I'm sure the boys will go over there with the right mentality. We've seen, all positives this season. Why not get another one on that step there too? And shout out to Bryce. You're going to love this comment here. My prediction, Hanson kills it. And we're all talking about whether we need to bring CHT back. But you're 100%. We would love to see. I know it'd be too early to be like Hanson and all that stuff. But the one thing is positive for Warriors fans, another half goes out there and kills it, in the 6 jersey, and we have more discussions about who's going to be our best halves. And that could be very, very positive in the sense of all right, our development's doing great. And obviously that would mean that Luke Hanson's, taking that big step into, he's a first grader. He has the ability to play first grade.
Definitely. I think, obviously, CHT will be back in the squad next week. There's no doubt about it. But even if Luke Hanson scores 4 tries, there's no doubt. But I think what Luke Hanson playing really well does, and what Jet Cleary playing well in Cup, and Jai Lanane when he comes back, and Jack Thompson, Harry Inch, what all these guys playing really well does for us is that when it comes to negotiation time with Tanner Boyd and with Chanel Harris-Tavita, we don't have to pay them overs to stay. Yep. If they go, well, the only thing that's not keeping me here is you not paying me an extra $100,000, then, but Tanner, we've got, Jet Cleary sitting right there. We've got Jack Thompson ready to go in a couple of years, when we're not stacked at halves, we're not desperate for halves. We have so many halves coming through who are so good that we're going to get to the point where, like you said, we're going to have too many. And it's going to be a point where we're, trying to choose and trying to decide who's going to be the ones that will, I guess, make us or break us. And if we let someone go, will it be the right decision? So it'll be interesting to see how we pull through. And as much as I, love Chanel and love Tanner, these boys coming through, in the next couple of years, like they're going to put a lot of pressure on them, which is awesome.
And that's the great thing too. Like, and I hope people don't look at it as like we're discrediting a player and because we don't like a player or anything like that. Like, we love all these players. If we could have a world where we could play as many of these guys together, you know, how about we buy a farm out somewhere, you know, and we take them all out there and they can just run free. They could do whatever they want. But no, we don't have the ability to buy a farm and, you know, run these halves out there and they could do, you know, happy, wonderful worlds. Like, unfortunately, we're going to have to make a decision. And I feel like either way, you know, as Warriors fans, we'll get behind whatever halves pairing we have out there. But that's the whole point of it, is whether we can make the right decision and, you know, we can take the next step into that area and who's going to be the guy to take that next step for us. So I just want to clear that up, is like, when we talk about these things, it's not because we want to discredit another or we don't like another. Like, it's just, we're just hoping that the Warriors can get the right one and we continue to go down that road, because unfortunately we don't have enough spots for all these guys to stay at our club, you know, week in, week out. I'd love to have Chanel go unders and stay with the Warriors because he loves us. I'd love to have Tanner still stay at the club because he loves us. I'd love to have, you know, Lukey stay at the club because I'd love anyone, but at the end of the day, that's just not how professional sports works. And unfortunately, that's just how cruel it can be at times.
I'm glad we're doing the live stream now, as opposed to, like, you know, 2021 when we'd have to talk nice about Kane Evans and Matt Lodge. You know, like, boy, am I glad.
Oh, the good old days,
But,
brother,
like,
the good old days.
I think what is so impressive with us is that, and obviously Phil Gould put this all in place, but our pathways. There was a little
shout out Phil.
Shout out to the pre-show that we had. We were talking about the impact of Phil Gould, but like, the pathways that we have is so hyper focused now, to the point where we're going to end up like Penrith, where we're going to be able to bring in players. Like, at the moment, we could get another Kurt Capewell type player who's on the outer at his club, or a Jackson Ford player that's on the outer of his club, who can come in and fill a spot that we don't have through our pathways yet, like the Panthers do, you know, with Tom Jenkins. Like, someone who was somehow on the outer at the Knights and managed to come in and be a fantastic player for them. Isaiah Papali'i, someone who has proven he's solid, and then was kind of like on the outer at the Tigers, and then ended up, you know, at the Panthers, and now starts for them and plays fantastic. You know, it's these guys that we can pick and choose, instead of going, oh, we need that guy and we need to pay him so much money, which is what has been our problem in the past. And so, like Ash said, we have so much love for all of these players. And when I talk about Luke Hanson and how, you know, I don't think he'll play next week because Chanel will be back, I still love Luke Hanson. I will watch New South Wales Cup and watch Luke Hanson run around any day of the week, because it's amazing, and the boys are fantastic. And I love seeing the names that I haven't heard before, and actually diving in and seeing what they're like, and seeing some of our junior boys coming through, and then, you know, getting, like, I hadn't checked the New South Wales Cup team list, and seeing Bishop Neal being named.
Yep.
And just getting excited for him and being, like, absolutely thrilled that this kid that we had through Harold Nats, through Estuary Ball this year into Jersey Flag, is now a possibility of playing Cup on the weekend, which is absolutely insane.
Fuck it, we're buying a farm and we're just going to take them all out there. You know what I mean? Let them run free. It's going to be incredible.
Get some memberships, guys. We need help. Need help getting the farm.
You know what the crazy thing about this whole discussion is like, you know, we had not even brought up, you know, Tamade Martin in this whole discussion. A guy that's going to come back off injury, and he's another guy that we're going to have to figure out where to put Tamade Martin. So we're in such a good place as the Warriors, like, organisation. But yeah, that's a big one. What
even with that as well, I said, because I was about to, I was way, like, the way, even just our number 9s at the moment, we have Wade Egan, then we have Sam Healy, Makai Tafua, we have JD Oloa can play 9, we have in the next grade down Braylon Marsh, exactly. Like, we have 5 9s that are at different stages of their career, that when Wade Egan either needs to move back to Australia at some point or retires, we can then bring in Sam Healy, and we can go, Sam, you are our guy. And then we can have Makai Tafua being absolutely insane off the bench. I mean, that I'm still not over that try he scored against Manly. Like,
Unreal, bro.
that in the trial. That was absolutely outrageous. And like being able to know that I've seen Makai Tafua come through the grades, see him play flag, see him play cup last year and break it and brain it in cup, and then come into the cup side this year knowing that he's the number one because Tamaiti is out. Like our club is in such a good place where, you know, our team list could be completely different with so many different players in, you know, 2027. But I'd still be so confident that Webby has got the boys ready to do their job that I'm all for it. I'm on the train.
100%, bro. We're all on this train and we're all in it together and together forever. And
we're going to the farm.
And we're going to the farm that we're going to buy with our Buzz Up TV money.
We're going to call it Goose Step Farm.
Yeah, shout out to my ugly goose step Monday night. Never going to be brought out again. But we may as well, we'll talk a little bit about Cup, but we may as well touch on the performance from our Cup team over the weekend, my brother. 44-12 against the Raiders Cup side. Performances all across the board, absolutely incredible. Good to see Loffy get over for his double there. Showed his speed and his finishing ability at the back of shape there. Great to see that. Kalis Putoko, absolutely incredible. Pretty sure he got the center of the week there for Cup as well. So big shout out to him. Great job. Hazen Mellors, good to see him get a couple out there too. Athletically, freak out there on the wing. Brother, just name after name after name. I know you're ready to go. What did you see out there? What did you enjoy?
It was just such a good turnaround. I think from what we had the week before into this week.
Yeah.
My favorite part was I can't remember who scored it, but Mellors went up, caught the ball, and managed to get the pass, and then
Gannon, I think.
Yeah, that's right, Morgan Gannon. And Morgan Gannon's going to score, and Mellors is just off celebrating by himself. He's layering up straight away. It was so good. So I got there just before halftime, and I was watching the game as I was on the way, like listening to the game. And I was, walking to the stadium, phone in my hand, going, holy moly, we are braining it. And it was on the back of, like Cooper Page Wilson.
Great.
Page Wilson or Wilson Page? One of the two.
Yeah, Page Wilson. Yeah.
He has been like a fantastic get. He was just outrageous. Marata New Kore played fantastic. Morgan Gannon was great, way better than I watched him. Yeah, I watched him during the trials, and I was like, oh, okay, I see it, but I don't see it. This game, I saw it, the way he hits hard, and there was one point as well where they were, and it's such a minuscule thing, but it was kind of right in front of us. We just scored.
Don't you dare bring it up.
No. I don't think so.
Go. Continue. Yeah, no.
No, so they're just in front of us just after we'd scored, and they went to do a short kickoff, and Morgan Gannon was kind of back on the 20 where he's meant to be, and he is yelling and screaming at, I think it's Sio Kali, get to where you're meant to be, get there. He just had that about him to go, okay, well, this is what needs to happen right now. I'm noticing this, I'm seeing this, and I'm going to tell him about it because he needs to do his job. That's the culture we have. It's not, Sio, you're stupid, what are you doing? It's, Sio, you need to be here, you need to do this. And so, it's those kind of things that I saw that you don't really see on TV because it's not the same camera angle. And you go, man, Morgan is ready.
I thought you were going to bring up something that I saw too. I was like, oh, here we go. We're on the same wavelength here. How good's Morgan? But what I enjoyed about Morgan, bro, is it's all that sort of stuff is great to hear about because he does look like he does do the 1%ers. That's what I feel like I see with Morgan Gannon. He doesn't have the big showboat or anything like that. He's got ability. But I think what I noticed is every time the ball went in any sort of direction there, high ball, anything like that, as you said with the Hazen Mellors try for his try, he was the first one there and ready to go right next to pick up the scraps. When balls hitting the deck, he was the first one there picking up scraps. I just noticed a little bit more out of that. His defensive movement saved us a couple of times as well there in the line. I thought it was a great performance from him. I loved every second of it. I thought that I was going to bring into this one. Didn't think anyone else would be like, Morgan Gannon played well. I'm like, he was on it, but you were right on it, bro. I love to see that.
Bro, I think when we think about the future as well, even say and I hate bringing this up again, but like Kurt Capewell is off contract, right? Murata is more than likely going to the Knights at the end of this year as well. You know,
Yep.
like, do we see a second row rotation of Jacob Laban, Leka Halasima, and Morgan Gannon? Like, that will be, like, to me, that
Nice.
doesn't fill me with any doubt at all.
No.
Like, whether it's Morgan starting and Jacob Laban starting and then Leka coming off the bench, or whether it's Leka and Jacob starting and Morgan coming off the bench, either way, it is filling me with confidence that we are replacing these, you know, what we used to think as irreplaceable players with solid quality players.
Agreed, bro. And like, we didn't even name Kalis Fotialofa or Eddie Iramia Tuava or Bishop Neal that could blow it out like New South Wales Cup, and we might look at him a little bit earlier than what we expected. I still wanted him to develop, but there's still all the possibility in the world. You know, big shout out to those boys over the weekend. As you said, yeah, Cooper Page Wilson was a really good standout there, coming from Sunny Coast. He's always been a stalwart for Sunny Coast. You know, always seeing him on a team list. Never watched him too closely personally, but seeing him in a Warriors jersey and watching him a bit closer, I love that pickup. Decent sized body out there. But shout out to our new centre, Josh Tinielu, as well. I really enjoyed a lot of his moments. Defensively, I thought he was really sound as well. So hopefully he continues on that upwards trend.
Has he been in around the system, or
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure.
I haven't seen him around the system.
Neither. It just seemed like a guy that just came in, but did a great job. I enjoyed a lot of his output, bro. I really did. And Jet Cleary, just another great performance. I think did he end up getting Cup Player of the Week as well, or he got
something? Yeah, probably
Cup Half of the Week or something like that. But big shout out to him, especially, you know, we all know the hype around Jet Cleary and what we have there. You know, and he's continuing to step up week in, week out. Had a good performance last week. This week was very, very good performance, and led the team around really, really nicely. And again, obviously getting into an extended bench there, he has the possibility to fall into a bench role. So we'll wait to see how that plays up this weekend. But anything more you want to touch on with Cup?
Yeah, actually, one player we haven't even mentioned as a halves player at all. New coming to the Warriors as well, Cassius Tia.
Yes,
I thought he was pretty good. He came on from what I saw, at least around 60 minutes.
Yep.
He was playing left-sided half, so technically number 6. And one of his first involvements, he threw one of the crispiest long balls I think I've ever seen, cutout ball, and it like straight hit the winger on the chest. And it was just it was absolutely beautiful. I think we might have scored from it or something like that. But
I'm pretty sure that was as that AKP's second try. Yeah.
So just straight onto AKP's chest, literally just, you know, he didn't even really have to move. He was straight in motion, just straight into his arms, and he scores. And then like his goal kicking was a bit, you know, lower than probably what we, you know, expect out of someone who's goal kicking for us. But he had a really good cameo, and someone that I was, you know, pretty happy seeing. I think he was only on the field for 10-15 minutes, but because I remember Jet came back on at the end, but he was fantastic. He
impacted you, and that's what matters. But
he's another one of those halves that we have coming through that are going to cause some problems.
And I'm so happy you brought him up, because like people don't remember, well, people may remember, there was so much hype over him with that doggy system as well, when he fell into that doggy system. And you know, I believe he has the ability to play more of that 13 role. He's like a decent sized body. He plays good half. He's got the ability to play center as well. So he's a guy that I feel like could be so versatile and could pick up a role and play, as I said, a 13 and a half role, play a center role and do a great job at it. So continue to watch out see how he goes with the Warriors system. Definitely got all the ability to do well. But let's jump over and quickly finish off, bro. Flegg and SG Ball getting 2 good wins. Unfortunately, Harold Matt's going down over the weekend, but a very close game. We only went down 2 points in that one, 24-22. But the Flegg side, bro, I am wrapped up with the Flegg. I love it. I think that we've got the ability to take out Flegg this year with this side if it stays what it is. Unfortunately, the only thing that will change that is what we see this weekend with our cup side getting stripped apart just due to our first grade side and guys having to jump up and down from Flegg and not. So, but Man, what a performance, bro. Honestly, you can name every single name on this list. Like Monsu Pasikala, great. You know, Brendan Norris showing some wheels out
He
there.
scored a hat trick, eh?
Yeah, and his tackle breakability is
Oh, crazy.
so good, bro. He's definitely got all the ability in the world. Shout out to Harry Inch and Jack Thompson, both the halves getting out there. Braylon Marsh, absolutely incredible. And just a big man on the edge, bro. Bishop Neal, my God.
Mm.
My God, bro. What have we
Yeah, I
got
want
there?
to shout out. I think it's Harry Tawafiafi or something like that.
Yep.
Tawafiafi.
Winger.
He was outstanding. He again another winger with tackle breakability.
Yep.
And we have riches at the moment, and this New South Wales Cup side is going to show, you know, some fantastic. This Jersey Flegg side, is going to show some absolutely fantastic future prospects for us. And like you said, I would not be surprised if come grand final day or whenever it is, you know, the week before the grand final, that the Jersey Flegg grand final is on, that our boys are there and ready to go.
I'm right there with it, bro. Like, you know, I think that this side's good enough to go all the way. We've got the perfect mix of our Harold Matts team, two of our Harold Matts teams that won the premiership. Obviously, Jack Thompson with that first year and that Bishop Neal and all that with the second year. There's still guys to come back to play on that side. I think Jeremiah Lamanna's on his way back sometime soon. Obviously, Jai Lanane still be able to play Jersey Flegg from memory. Jet Cleary still has the ability to play Flegg if he gets dropped back due to Tamaide coming back to Cup or something like that. Sio Carly got dropped back to Jersey Flegg, and
Did,
you know,
yeah.
if someone of that ability is playing Flegg, like there's, oh man, I can't wait.
Bro.
Bro.
It's so sad.
Oh,
It's so mean. I feel mean. Like Jai Lanane can play in this team.
Bro, crazy, right?
Like,
It's
what is
just
going on?
wild, bro. We buy Harry Inch and all that. It's like, man, like we were talking about before, there's possibly the ability that we bring Harry Inch off the bench or something like that this year if we go full strength. I don't know. Like, that's just mental to think about. We need to buy a bigger farm. I'll tell you that much.
Well, hey, let's buy up the whole countryside while we're at it.
100%, bro. 100%. And just quickly touching on the SG Ball side getting a good win. I didn't actually get to sit down and watch this game, unfortunately. I had a lot of running around over the weekend with the first birthday. But 24-16, Joseph Ratcliffe going over for a double there. Lennox Tuiloma getting on the score sheet there, which would be good for his confidence. I feel like he was you know, on the back burner a little bit there. Didn't really, you know, jump up into that, you know, SG Ball too well yet. I feel like he's starting to find his way there. But great performance from their boys out there, and good to see that. We almost went 5 from 5 this weekend, brother.
Yeah, I thought Hinkley Ioka played well again. Another half.
Another one. Another one.
I don't know what's going on, but yeah, Lennox Tuiloma played mean as well. You're right. Yeah, I was very, very impressed. I think we had a sin bin in that game as well, and still managed to come out with the win. And you're right, we did almost go 5 from 5. We just missed on the Harold Matts, which they're having a bit of a tough go this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, when you've got like we've just absolutely stripped that team of all their talent, and we're going, hey guys, you know, good luck. And they're still coming, like they only lost by 2 points. Like it's not you know, we were 3 points away from 5 from 5 over the weekend. So
and there's still a lot of great talent in that Matt side too. Like it's not like it's not without talent. It's just probably more a cohesion and the boys sticking together. Like I'm still loving what I'm seeing out of Keanu Simpson and stuff like that, like his development and that. But yeah, just it's so good to be a Warriors fan right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy because you look through the team list that we have, and there's a lot of names that you don't like we have seen over the last few years that you're right, like are now in the Jersey Flegg side or are now in the, you know, pushing up to Cup. But then you look at like, did Kahu Kappa play over the weekend or was he injured? You know, he's like another guy that we just have in and around there. You know, these guys, like we poached Kahu Kappa from the Roosters.
Yeah, and we're playing him on edge back row, bro. He's not playing his preferred positions. Like, that's just mental to me. It's still mental to me because I'm like, I'd love to see him get up into that New South Wales Cup squad to play centre, but there's guys there that are doing a great job there too. Like, Potoko's incredible. Like, you still got to get past, you know, obviously Vake and Sio Kali playing centre and Cup at the moment. Like, there's so many stocks underneath that first grade to, you know, that New South Wales Cup grade. So, yeah, bro, the future is so bright. The more the development comes through, the more we have these discussions year in, year out of like our depth. Like this year we spoke about center as being an area where we do need to probably grow. Like obviously Ali and Rocco, just injuries impacted that. But maybe another year down the track, you know, Potoko can get to that ability there. And then you got COs that's still around about traps. You still got, you know, Brendan Norris can probably do a job there. Kahu Kappa. Like then we can start bringing these names to that discussion and our depth don't look too bad, right?
Yeah. Even Cassius Tia can play centre as well.
Yeah.
You know, like I think what the best part about our young boys coming through is that they just seem to all be able to play different positions, which is a blessing and a curse. You know, like it's a blessing because they are adjustable. You can slot them into where you need, but also a curse because you're like, what is your best position? You know, when we look at Brendan Norris, is it wing? Is it centre? Is it fullback? When we look at Kahu Kappa, is it centre? Is it edge back rower? You know, when we look at Eddie Tuivasa, is it centre? Is it edge? Is it middle? You know, we saw him play in the middle last year against the Titans over in the goal and scored his try.
Unreal.
You know, so like we have so much variety in each of our players, and man, like I could talk about this for hours and hours.
Understand. And there's obviously the ability of Aussie teams coming over and poaching some of these superstars, but we got enough there that I feel like we can throw a blanket over the top of them and say, nah, don't touch these boys. These are ours. And like, I think there's enough guys there that want to stay with the Warriors and build something there. Like what I loved from the start of this whole young group that it came through with the Leckers, Dimitrix, Labans and stuff is they made a pact to do this for the Warriors. They wanted to stay all together as a group and build this club into like, you know, what the Penrith Panthers and all that are doing. So they've got the ability to do that. These younger kids like your Kalises and stuff like that are all going to stick together. CO Kalis and Kahu Kappas. Like there's obviously going to be NRL clubs that are going to be feeding for a lot of this talent, but there's obviously a lot of these Kiwi kids that show now that they can look up and go, we've got a pathway to the first grade squad now, and we can make this first grade squad probably the best club in the league. There's a possibility of that in the future. Like why not stay and be the first ones to, you know, lift a trophy for the Warriors. Like that's such a big prospect for us. So we'd love to see it.
Just speaking on versatility one more time, Jeremiah Lamana has been named this week.
What's he named in?
Jizzy Flegg.
Woo!
At centre.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So another versatile player.
Who's fullback?
Tynion Clarkin.
Yeah, true.
I haven't seen much of him go around.
Neither.
But I mean, maybe it's a ploy. Do we have maybe like a Motu dropping back down if Loffy's not playing in first grade?
That's what I'm thinking. Like surely Jeremiah goes to fullback.
Norris, yeah, I was gonna say Brendan Norris go to the centres. Yeah. So it's things like that where like and Tiny and Clarkin could be another one that we look at and go, how did we not see this?
Exactly right, bro. There's a lot of that. Like Vake has been named on the bench there in that flag side as well. So and he's a centre. So there could be a little bit of changing going on here.
It could be just to get Lamana back into feeling, you know, football again.
And I think Jariah Vangano as well. He's a really good outside back from memory. If it's a guy, I'm thinking, yeah, bro, Silky too. Shout out. But
what's next? The Fa'afili?
Don't you dirty talk me like that, eh? Especially, you know what's going on in Australia, mate. I can't be having these moments on stream. Nah, guys, I think we'll end it off there. What an incredible show, guys. Obviously very positive over here in Warriors Nation. You know, we're loving it. Hopefully the boys continue on that streak here with the Newcastle Knights this weekend, guys. Make sure you tune in. But if you enjoy the content, make sure you like and subscribe. Joshy, anything more before we go?
Hey, win, lose or draw, the NO here will be the same. So
always, baby, always turn up for some good NO.
Yeah. There we go. It's weird when you say it, but
This guy, man, this guy. Hey, 100%. Where's Jose? Yeah, yeah. Joshy closed his fridge with hips, bro. That's exactly right.
And what?
And
what about
lips.
it?
Yeah, and he licks
what
his
about
lips.
it? Soft lips, baby. Let's go.
Soft lips and soft hips.
But all the inno.
And a farm. We'll take that.
And a farm.
And a
Absolutely.
farm. Nah,
All
appreciate
right,
you guys.
We better bounce before we go too crazy.
Nah, it's been an incredible night, guys. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe before you end the stream as well. And up the wires as always, guys. Take it easy.
Up the wires, baby.